Hi, students. My name is Ron Denault, and I'm one of the instructors for CMPL 415 Programming Fundamentals. I'm creating this tutorial video to explain to students how they are going to compile and run C++ code, which is the language we're going to be using in this course, in a command prompt. Okay? So we're going to be using a program called MinGW. It doesn't need to be installed, it just needs to be downloaded. Some files need to be downloaded. And I'm going to run you through this process. It's not complicated, it's a little lengthy, but not complicated. But once we download these files, then we'll be able to use the command prompt to run, to compile and execute C++ code. Each week, students will be required to create a C++ program as one of their assignments. And in order to do that, the way I want you to compile and run it is to use MinGW. So go to your favorite search engine and type MinGW and hit enter, and that'll bring you to a list of links. And I'd like you to click on this one here. It may not be the first one for you, but it is for me. Once you see it, you might have to scroll down a little bit to see it, but once you see it, click on it, and that's going to bring you to the MinGW page. Okay. From here on the left-hand side, click on the downloads link, and that's going to bring you to a list of downloads. Okay, scroll down. I'm using Windows 11 operating system. I'm going to scroll down until I see the MinGW W64 for Windows, and I'm going to click on that link. From here, it's going to bring me to the builds and installation GitHub. This GitHub is a link. That's where I want to go. So I'm going to click on GitHub. That's going to bring me to the GitHub page. Now the first release is 13, that shows up is 13.2.0. That one looks good to me. So I'm going to expand assets, and these are all zip files. So you're going to need a program that can extract this zip file. It doesn't matter which one you use. I use the one that comes with Windows, but if you have 7-zip or something like that, that's also fine. But which one are we going to download? Scroll down until you see the x86 underscore 64 POSIX. Okay, the MCVCRT link. This one right here. Click on it, and it's going to download this file to your downloads folder. Now it's probably going to show up um, there already because I've done this quite a few times. I've already went through this process already. I'm just creating this video to instruct it to the students. So what I'm going to do is as you can see here, I've already extracted it. Okay, it's in my downloads folder. I already extracted it. So I'm going to rename this a lot simpler, a lot shorter name because we're going to need that path. So rather than have a really long path, and then I'm going to move it onto my directly on my C drive. So it's not hidden behind a bunch of other folders. Okay. So I've already done that. So I'm going to go to I've already extracted it and I've already renamed it. You can see it right here. It's only the version number. Okay. So that's the folder that I want. So I'm going to go inside that folder, inside the MinGW64 folder. And from here, I'd like you to go inside the bin folder. This is going to show us all of the executable files and many more for this program, okay? The one we're primarily interested in here is the G++ executable, because that's the one we're going to need to run C++ and compile C++ code, all right? So now what we need to do is we need to copy this path. So if you click on the white area here, it'll show you just the path. That's what we want. So I'm going to right click and copy it. Now we have to create an environmental variable path to this link. So we need to go into our environmental variables. So what you need to do is to go into your control panel. And if your control panel doesn't look like this, change the view to category instead of large or small icons. Click on the system and security, system, and then advanced system settings. This will open up the system properties. From here, you'll see the button that says environmental variables. Click on that. Now on the bottom section where it says system variables, scroll down until you see path. and then edit. Now I've already done this, so you can see my link, my path is right here already. But what you're going to do is you're going to click on the new button and right click and paste that path right here. I'll actually paste it so you can see it's going to do it again. I already have it here, see the one right above it, so I don't need it. All right, so I'm just going to delete this. All right, and then I'm going to click OK. And once you do that, it'll create that path in your environmental variables. And you can click OK. You can get out of your control panel. You can get out of your system properties. And you can get out of the system window. Okay? So now we're ready to compile and execute some C++ code. So I'm going to give you the simple program that we're going to run inside of chapter 1. Okay, I opened the chapter 1 assignment in Notepad. I use Notepad because most of the programs we're going to be doing in this course are quite simple. But if you would prefer to use another program to run, to type your code or to check for errors, like something like Visual Studio, if you have it, or some other program, some other IDE, that's fine with me. But I like to just use Notepad. So the program asks you to add, because the initial file is just I'm learning to program. They want you to add in C++ and then add another line that says this is awesome. So those are two output lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this file into the CPP folder that I created in my C drive, because as I mentioned, I like to work from my C drive. So I'm going to move this into that CPP folder on the C drive. So I'm going to go into it, and I've already done this already, so I've already created the executable file, so I'm going to delete it just to show you. So inside my C drive, I have a CPP folder that I'm using for all of my CPP programs. The very simple programming.cpp. I'll open it up to show you. The same thing, right? So I'll close it now. Now I'm going to compile this. So I'm going to open up a command prompt. So I'm going to right click, command prompt, run as administrator. Okay. Now I have to change the directory to this CPP folder, right? Because that's where my file exists. So CD to change directory, C drive, :/CPP, and hit enter. So now as you can see, I'm in my C drive inside the CPP folder, which is exactly where I want to be. I know that I have a file in there called programming.cpp, and I want to compile it. So how do I do that? I do that with G++. Remember that g++.exe file is in the bin folder, right? So we're going to put C++ space programming. Oops, excuse my typing. .cpp space -o, because we want to create the executable outputted file. And I want the outputted file to have the same name as the CPP file. So I'm going to say programming. And then I'm going to hit enter. And there we go. See the executable file? It just created the executable file. So now let's run that executable file. So all you do here is type programming.exe. If I did this correctly, when I hit enter, I should see the output that we typed into that file. And there it is. I am learning to program in C++. This is awesome. Okay? So this is the process I want you to use. You're only going to send me programming.cpp file. That's all I need. Okay, so when you submit the assignment, just submit this. I don't need the executable file. I don't need anything else. Only the programming.cpp file. That's all I need. I will run it on my end. I'm going to open up my command prompt, and I'm going to run it from here. Okay, and if you did it correctly, all right, I will get this outcome. Let me change something that's going to make the program not work, and I'll recompile it. So I'm going to delete the executable file. I'm going to open up programming.cpp, and I'm going to remove the D here and remove the D here, and then Control S to save it. All right, close this, and now let me go back and try running it and see what happens. Okay, so here's the code to run it, G++, programming.cp, output programming. All right, I'll hit enter, and I got errors, and it even tells you what you did wrong. That's the beauty of this. Okay, it underlines ST. It's saying there's an error here. There's something missing there. And the same thing with the second line. So you go back and you say, oh, there's a D missing, and you fix it and redo it. So let's fix it real quick and run it again. D, D, Control S, close it, go back to the command prompt, run it again, and now it runs. Programming.exe, and there's the output. Okay? So that's how you're going to be working your programming assignment. There's other assignments you're going to be doing besides programming. This is a small part of the course, but this is the method I want you to use. If any of you have problems downloading, renaming, or extracting the files into a folder and moving them, or anything like that, I'm happy to meet you on Zoom and run the process through with you. We can set up a time that's convenient to both of us. I want you to be successful in this class, so whatever it takes for me to help you get through that, I'm willing to do that. Okay, so contact me at ronald.denault@unh.edu. Thank you for watching the video.